Hey guys, tattoo for you. I ain't cutting that out either. Tattoo for you, Richard here. I don't know why I started howling like a dog. Tarnation. Seriously, child? Anyway, it's Friday. I'm sitting there doing my business stuff in my nerd quarters, and Vince Venturella's topic of the week came up. And typically, I like his topic of the weeks. I like watching them and watching other people's responses to him. Sometimes I don't do fantasy yet, so a lot of them don't really pertain to me and stuff. But this one, occasionally they do, and I tend to forget to respond if it's something that really does. Well, this one's narrative, and like that is right up my alley. Narrative, uh, talking about narrative play in your play, how you play your game using a narrative factor, just everything all the way around. And for me, that is a huge part of this game. Um, Typically, this is a war game. You've got your fluff that your little games workshop or whatever system you play, what they put, that almost all war games in general have some kind of fluff to it. Even historicals, they have a fluff. The fluff is history. That's where you get your story and your narratives from. So that's the first point. There's really two main points, I believe. Kind of semi three maybe. But I'm just going to talk about narrative and why I like it and why I enjoy it and how it pertains to me not being the gamer yet, like not fully getting to play yet. Just building up to playing is kind of where I'm at right now. But do I consider it important? Very. I think very. It's really, for most people, it's just a hobby. You paint figures, you build models, you play a game, you're cool. It's just a game to play. I like the story. I started out in games like this, like true to business nerd games. I started out with RPGs, Rifts, as a matter of fact, Palladium's Rifts, post-apocalyptic world, ley lines, stuff like that, glitter boys, suits, and all this kind of stuff. That's not jazz dancers. That's just a big, massive pre-war apocalypse suit. Um, and RPGs like that, role-playing games, Dungeons and Dragons and things, that is straight up narrative. That is all about the narrative. That is bringing your personality into it and playing and having fun. I like bringing that into my armies as well. Anything I'm doing, like right now I'm doing my Imperial Night House, and that right there is fully narrative. It is an Imperial Night House that's not based on, but I'm using like my family to create characters, and I'm coming up with storylines behind those characters, and everything about it, like just the works, you know. I just painted up like this figure right here. I'm using it as my dad. He's an Imperial Knight pilot. I haven't painted up using this guy as me. This is my character from the Night House. You know, here we have my brother and my uncle. This is my brother. Yep, forward-facing camera. You get nothing but a shape. And then this guy I'm using for my uncle. So yeah, and that's I'm building a narrative off them. You know, just going in depth with the Night House. I went through how they left Earth. Like I even have videos on my channel right now of little shorts where I'm reading the story I wrote of them leaving during the time of Great Colonization, coming to the planet, and part 2 they've arrived at the planet, and I've talked about what the planet's like and everything, and I'm just building up to an eventual battle. That's going to be another part of the narrative of us leaving the planet, becoming free blades more or less, being denounced by the Empire, and that we were supposed to be, they were supposed to rain down exterminatus on our planet, but we escaped beforehand, fast enough or whatever. But anyway, it's just me building a story behind my guys. And I think Games Workshop lets us do that a lot by giving us the basics, but then leaving a lot of things unknown, you know? So that way we can build off that and we can put our own flair and our own twist on things. My tower, my own custom sept. and I'm building a storyline that ties in with my Tau into my Night House. To me that's just a great, it's a great part of the game. It brings it more, it gets me more invested in my hobby too, in my models. Like it means a lot. Like take my brother out on the battlefield, out of his suit, out of his knight suit, and him doing battle on there, he dies or something like that in game. It's gonna be like, oh man, that's my brother, but he died. I may have a little chart set off to the side that I'll roll after game, like kill team and stuff like that. Is he dead, knocked out, mortally or wounded? Was he going to need bion? I don't know. Anyway, there's just lots of things. And it says the next one be do you go into depth as far as like building lists and playing? I think yes, because I will take a style like say my Tau. Tau or gunline. A lot of people they play Tau like gunline, set up a gunline, don't do anything, don't move, don't shoot, just go and blast away and wipe out your opponent that way. I'm doing my Tau as fast moving. They want to get to where they need to be, set up their mini gun lines, fire and move. Fire and move to get to better strategic points. And I want to do that. I'm going to get slaughtered, I'm sure. I want breachers. Breachers to me are an awesome squad for me personally. I like the concept of them and the idea. Breachers in a devilfish, get them as close as you can. Have 2 different squads. You go after 2 high value targets. You get those breacher blasters in close. That's a heavy duty strength in your face. Whittle down if you can, take a tactical squad, whittle it down as far as you can with all those shots once they jump out, and then nuke them with everybody else. It's just that's how I don't know. See, I hope I'm getting it right. Do I look a little flush? Probably. But yeah, see that's how I want to play. I want to play a specific way, that ties in with my army. People don't play with Crude or Vespid anymore, but I want to. I want to bring those into my army but my Vespid are these guys, which are part of my Imperial Night House. They are the Crimson Guardsmen of my house. They have rotary packs from Puppets War, and that they're going to be my Vespid. Whenever the Tau meet up with these guys and help my Imperial Night House out, that's where they get the use of the Vespid from. Eventually, they're going to go to find their home world, and there's going to be an Imperial Guard regiment left behind there with decaying armor and decaying vehicles, but they're going to become the Kroot of my army. And I will use them often just to have them as part of that narrative and that fun in the aspect of the army. If that makes sense, if I'm really even reaching the right of what you're trying to say, Vince, if you watch this at all. And then the other thing is, do you use it before or after to explain situational outcomes in the game and whatnot, or before the game? I think yes too. It helps just build that game. I mean, fluffy game, even a fluffy game, you can look at it. Say I'm playing Tau against Chaos for some reason. I'm gonna do little tiny games coming up that is gonna be me using all the armies that I have handy, like the smaller armies and stuff. Like I have a small force of I have a Necron force, which will be used here. I have my daughter has Tyranids. I'm going to be doing different battles with them to kind of build up of us, because we're looking for a new home planet and tying that into where it is. If we beat that army, then we will set up an outpost out there, because I have a storyline set up for our home world where we're going to end up at. But I want to do mini battles encasing all the armies that I have to kind of show their progression and them getting there and all the things they went through. But I'll have them set up outposts along the way on these different planets or whatnot. I don't know. A situational outcome, like if a squad gets wiped out, or like I said, my brother and my dad dies in there. Yeah, I'll bring a narrative in there to explain what happens. I try to not want to kill off my family members. If there's a way out of it. Like if I was to play a game with my Imperial Night House characters, and say my dad ship, not a ship, his knight, Imperial Knight, and say my Imperial Knight get demolished. Depending on in that game, like how badly we lost or won, will determine the outcome later on like what I do with the knight. Like if that knight is ever brought out again in a game, or how long before I bring it into a game again. Like say it was completely obliterated. I'm going to eject my family members because they ejected out and they're rescued later. Or I could build up another game behind that too, whether they were captured or not, or they're still out on the battlefield wounded, so we send out another push to kind of try to save them. Ultimately, if something happens and we're doing like 4 games and I keep getting killed and I can't capture that objective or whatnot, then that character will have to die finally. As sad as that would be. Yes, that's a really cool topic. I love narrative. I love narrative and everything, and bringing narratives into games left and right are just it's really cool. Even bringing narrative into a game of Monopoly, making yourself like you were the mob boss or something like that. Ha 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 ha! You're trying to take over. I don't know. It's just fun. It's fun to. That's what we do. This is what our hobby does, right? This is what our hobby's for: is to have fun, put a smile on our face. Let us kind of lose the doldrums and the humdrums of reality for a little bit and step into another world and another level and just have a good time. And adding a narrative behind it really helps, in my opinion. It just totally takes you to another world, more or less. It's like reading a book without having to read a book. You roll dice instead, I guess. I don't know, guys. I hope this works. That's just how my take on the topic of the week. This is how I took it and how I rolled with it. So, rolled it like dice, baby. Rolled it like dice. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Check Vince's channel out and check his topic of the week. If you've got one, you've got a feeling on this, jump on and do a response video. Have fun with it. He does these once a week. I like them. Pretty cool. Love you guys. Keep rocking the nerd life, my friends. I'll see you later.